Well, hello everyone. Sorry if it's a little bright. I am here to do a book wrap up review or a review wrap up. I don't know, however you want to say it. I'm here to review books for you, and this is going to be, I believe, 66 through 69. Yeah. So, trying to do like 4 books at a time. So the first book I'm going to talk about is called I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Now, I know that they have a Netflix adaptation of this. I have not seen it. I've heard mixed reviews of that. But I've also heard mixed reviews of the book. But most people seem to like the book, and I did too. I will say now that the book is pretty slow. If you're looking for something that has like action, is more like a horror thriller type, this might not be for you. This one is more maybe thoughtful. I don't know if you could put it in the category of psychological, but it's much more, I guess, thinking, metaphorical, that type of book. And it has an interesting twist. I will say that. I won't tell you what it is, but I will tell you that it's something that you wouldn't expect. Which I knew there was a twist going into it. And I think I was almost spoiled for it, but I didn't quite understand what they were talking about, so that was good. So it didn't ruin it or anything. But basically, this book is about a woman. She is going to visit her boyfriend's parents for the first time, and she's thinking of ending the relationship. And a lot of it is in the car and other places talking about just life in general and things. There's a story from his childhood about pigs that is really gross, and I hate bugs, and just that imagery. It's kind of an unnerving story, but it's really good. If you like books with a lot of dialogue, a lot of thoughts, and like, I guess, people's philosophy, I would say you would like this one. This one is not like a jump scare kind of scary. It's more of an unnerving, slightly psychological kind of slow burn kind of scary, I would say. It's kind of creepy. There was how they have blurbs and stuff and little taglines and stuff, and one of them was you'll be scared but you don't know why. It's kind of that feeling. So yeah, I would say check it out if you like that kind of thing. The next one I'm going to talk about is a YA book. I believe Ian Reed is the author of I'm Thinking of Ending Things. But now on to Becky Albertalli's Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, which was also made into a movie that I have not seen. I know there's a lot of controversy on this one, and people are kind of mixed on it. I like the book. So basically, this is a young adult, I guess you call it contemporary novel, about a kid in high school named Simon, and he is basically being blackmailed because somebody found out that he is gay and is using that against him. And so this is basically about Simon and his identity and in being blackmailed, and just the people around him in life and how people are reacting to things, and just the idea of who he feels safe to tell and come out to. And I thought it was really well written. I liked the characters and everything. I like that it kind of dealt with the issue of him telling people, him knowing who he's comfortable around, and that kind of stress and all that stuff. I like books that can be lighthearted in one way but still keep serious in other ways, and I think that really had a good balance. There are more in, I guess, the Simon verse, more books by her within that kind of world, and the characters were interesting, so I want to read more about them. The next one I want to be talking about is a John Green book, which I reread, and that is Paper Towns. And Paper Towns basically deals with the manic pixie dream girl. There is a boy, or a teenage guy, because the girl that he's interested in, she's like 18, so it's like, I guess, high school graduate kind of kids, whatever you want to call it, but it's still like classified as young adult. Anyways, his name is Q. Quentin, I think is his name. Yeah, Quentin, whatever. And he's had this crush on this girl named Margot. Well, they're not like enemies, but they kind of like fall out of being friends after like childhood. Like they don't hang out or anything, but they're not like enemies. And then one day she comes into his room and wants her to kind of go on this revenge adventure with her for a night. Because if I remember, her boyfriend was cheating on her or something like that. And then the next day, Margot disappears. But Margot has been known to try and go off on adventures, and she's just Margot, this like fascinating person to him. So while the police aren't looking for her, and her parents really aren't, because she's basically 18 and she can do what she wants, and she's been known to kind of go off when she was younger, so nobody's really worried too much about her except Q, because he has this idea in his head that Margot is kind of, I mean, not literally, but kind of like a magical person in a way. Like she's this great person, basically, like I said, manic pixie dream girl. He has this idea of her, and so he gathers some of his friends and they go on a trip looking for Margot. And it basically is about Q's love of who he thinks Margot is versus who she really is, the road trip and other things. It's a fun book. It's I don't know if it's my absolute favorite by him, but it's an interesting read. And then the last book I'm going to talk about might be my favorite book next to The Hunger Games. And oddly enough, like The Hunger Games being a part of a series and not just a standalone book, this is an anthology. And I'm talking about Zombies versus Unicorns. So, authors Holly Black and Justine Larbalestier, or is it A? I can never remember. But basically, they were having a debate. Now, they don't have a story in this book, either one of them. They just edited the stuff. But they were having a debate about what is the better, like, mythical creature or something like that, a zombie or a unicorn, which is an interesting debate, because I would think it would be like, I don't know, a unicorn or a Pegasus, or a zombie or a mummy or something like that. But yeah, it was an interesting combination. And each story basically has to do with a zombie or a unicorn. Like the first story is a unicorn story, and then the next is zombie, then unicorn. So you get it. And I just love the stories that they picked that were put into this book, because each author pretty much put their own spin on these. It's not all, just running from brain-eating zombies, or that unicorns are sparkly magical creatures. No, you have a unicorn story where unicorns are vicious, venomous animals. And then you have another, which that's called the Karen feeding a my killer baby unicorn, or your killer baby unicorn. There's also Purity Test, which is basically a funny, sarcastic unicorn story, which I love. There's Bougainvillea, which is kind of more about people being ruthless and more dangerous than the zombies. Yeah, there was just so many different ways to tell these stories, and they were all fantastic. Even some of the ones I didn't care for too much were still their own thing. And you gotta check this book out. I think there's something in there for like everyone. It is a YA book, but the stories are fantastic. And if you look up, if you do, I lost my train of thought there. Get this book. I highly recommend the stories Bougainvillea, Purity Test, the Karen feeding a my killer baby unicorn. Children of the Revolution is another good one. Prom Night was a good one. They're all pretty much good ones. But Bougainvillea and Purity Test are probably my two favorite. For both sad and funny. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.